Good morning, class. Yum, good coffee. The liquid in this vessel points in the direction of the acceleration. And when there isn't any acceleration, it stays level. Notice when I spin, the acceleration is directed inward. What we have is a centripetal acceleration. And a physics teacher who feels dizzy. This always happens to me. Okay, now I feel better. So, when a body travels on a curved path, it has a centripetal acceleration given by the speed squared over the radius of curvature. Let's watch a video of me driving a car. Okay, here we go. Keep your eye on the liquid accelerometer. Whoa. Whoa. Yikes. The green liquid points in the direction of the car's acceleration. Okay, does anyone know what causes the car to undergo this centripetal acceleration? Good morning, class.
Good morning, Mr. Wonderhole.
Today I'm going to tell you a story of how I acquired this creature for the biology department. Turn off the lights, turn on the projector. My adventure began in New York City. From there, I flew south to the jungles of the Amazon. This story is really interesting and appropriate because I had to use physics, as you'll soon learn, to capture the creature. Now, the flight was long and somewhat boring. When I finally got to the Amazon, I rented a vehicle and I drove for several hours. Wait. The natives told me that the creature I was seeking would be less aggressive if I offered it food. So I decided to hunt for something to give the creature. I soon spotted what looked like a red squirrel. I aimed above it to compensate for gravity. Physics is helpful. Finally, I spotted the creature. This time I must aim directly at the creature, since it releases its grip when it hears the noise of the gun. I successfully captured the creature, and now I can go home. Okay, turn the lights on. Let's talk about the physics. Without gravity, I would just have to aim directly at the creature to hit it. But there is gravity, and since the creature falls when it hears the gunshot, I once again aim directly at it. Bullet and creature fall together. Oh my, the creature's loose. Everyone get out of here. Oh no, oh no. Whoa. Class dismissed. Good morning, class. Today we're going to apply Newton's second law to riding an elevator. Newton's second law, net force equals m times a. Accelerating upward, you feel heavier. Accelerating downward, you feel lighter. A mass on a spring will reflect how you feel. A clock on board will tick faster when you're accelerating upward and tick slower when you're accelerating downward. And now a movie about the physics of riding an elevator. I rode the train to the the elevators in that building. I made arrangements to have a grandfather clock placed in the elevator. And as you can see, I brought along my trusty mass on a spring. There's the clock. Okay, here we go. Going up. I feel heavier. Clock is ticking faster. Now the elevator is traveling at a constant velocity, and I feel normal, and the clock is ticking normal. We're almost at the top floor. Okay, we're slowing down. I feel lighter, and the clock is ticking slower. Now we're at the top floor, and I feel normal, and the clock is ticking normally. Okay, going down. Now I feel lighter, and the clock is ticking slower. Look at the mass. Once again, the elevator's traveling at a constant velocity, and everything seems normal again. The clock is ticking normal. Mass is hanging normally. Okay, we're stopping. I feel heavier, and the clock is ticking faster. Now I'm at rest. I feel normal, and the clock is ticking normally. Well, I'm accelerating upward again, and I feel heavier. Oh no, I think the cable snapped. I feel weightless. Fantastic. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's as if I'm in a zero-gravity environment. Note that the clock stopped. Wait till my students see this movie. Newton's second law. See ya, gang. On some coasters, you feel really light going down the first hill. The curvature of the hill is a free fall curve. Sometimes you feel light even on the second hill. That's because the curvature of this hill is also a free fall curve. Okay, let's watch this movie of me riding a coaster. The first hill that you see me coast down is a free fall curve, so I feel really light or practically weightless. The next hill the coaster negotiates is a free fall curve, so again I felt practically weightless. Riding coasters is a lot of fun because there's a lot of physics involved. Since those hills are free fall curves, you could literally remove the tracks and still enjoy the ride. Watch this. Okay, so I arranged to have the track removed. I'm in free fall, following a free fall curve. I'm in free fall again, following a free fall curve. By the way, these free fall curves are parabolic in shape. Okay, class, that's about it. Whoa, those darn apples. Oh. I think I'm gonna go to the local amusement park. Good morning. Newton predicted that weight was proportional to the product of the masses and the inverse square of the distance between the masses. Ta-da! Given my mass and the Earth's, my weight varies inversely with the square of the distance between the masses. Okay, so now I'm going to test this equation. I'm going to climb up this ladder and see how my weight varies with the distance to the center of the Earth. Right now, I'm at a distance of 1 Earth radius above the surface of the Earth, and I feel about 1/4 my weight. Now I'm at about 2 Earth radii above the surface of the Earth, and I feel about 1/9 my weight. Don't actually try this, gang, because there's no air in space. I strike the tuning fork, and the oscillating prongs set up a sound wave. longitudinal spherical waves are created, where the speed is equal to the wavelength times the frequency. What if the source of the sound moves? Hello, a passenger train is approaching this railroad crossing. Listen to its horn. The change in pitch you just experienced is called the Doppler effect. It happens when a sound source moves relative to you. Did you see how the waves were compressed in the front? Wavelength times frequency is equal to the speed of sound, which, like light, is a constant in any given medium. In front of the source, there must be a larger frequency since the wavelength is smaller. Question: what do you hear if you're moving with the source? No Doppler effect if you're moving with the source of sound. Good morning, class. My assistant, Karina, will help us with today's lesson.
Okay.
Today, we're going to learn about the Faraday cage. Let's charge Karina up. Negative charge is transferred from the Van de Graaff generator dome to Karina's hair, and to my hair and Albert's. Grounding leaks excess charge off. Thank you, Karina. You may take your seat.
You're welcome.
Okay, let me take care of Albert. Now, consider a charge conductor. The charge distributes itself uniformly along the surface in such a way so that there's no electric field inside the charge conductor. Place a positive test charge inside the conductor and it will experience a net force equal to 0. A conductor used to shield what's inside it from external electric fields is called a Faraday cage. Here's one. Step inside, Karina. Electric generator on.
My hair feels normal.
No electric field. And now a special video. Like Faraday.
Where are Faraday cages in our everyday life? Trains protect us from lightning. Airplanes are Faraday cages. They protect us from lightning strikes.
Listen to this.
Do you know why you're safe in a car when it's lightning? Because it's a Faraday cage. Next time you're in a lightning storm, go inside a Faraday cage.
That's it, folks. See you tomorrow. Good morning. Today we're going to study the electric circuit. Here's a simple one. It consists of a battery, 2 light bulbs, and a switch. A voltmeter and an ammeter read the voltage and the current respectively. A schematic diagram of the circuit looks like this: resistance, or light bulbs, and the ammeter. The voltmeter measures the voltage drop across the circuit. Open the switch, the lights go off. This is the voltmeter. It measures the amount of energy lost by charge going through the circuit. The current, measured by the ammeter, has one path to follow. Let's learn about how the voltage, current, and resistance relate.
I'd like to talk about my law, Ohm's law. The voltage across a resistor is equal to the current through the resistor times the resistance. There's two other ways of writing this. It's just algebra, though. It's not three laws, there's only one. See? Okay, suppose voltage is held constant and we plot current versus resistance. What the graph would look like? Remember, voltage is constant. So current plotted against resistance would be inverse.
Thank you for the great presentation, Mr. Ohms. Mr. Ohms, I have a copy of your book. Would you mind signing it? Today you were introduced to the electric circuit, the series circuit, and Ohm's law. The world is full of electric circuits. Think of all the electric circuits in a typical city.